Hello, everyone. This is Carrie Heaps with Chromatic Council, and I just wanted to do a quick video and talk with you a little bit about color and color analysis. So, if you have not had your colors done by a color professional, and that's to find out whether you are a winter, a spring, summer, or autumn. You typically will fall in one of those four categories. Now, some color analysis people do it a little bit differently, where they do, true and more, they kind of put something in front of that. And I actually do it very old school. So I go by the four seasons, and you have 30 colors to pick from because let's face it, not everybody is going to like all 30 colors in their palette. Now, typically when I have done this in person, I have someone in front of me in studio who will be sitting down, much like I am. We usually have a white drape over them, and we will proceed to find out what season they are by not just draping, but also by answering a series of questions for us. And most of this does pertain to your eye color, your iris, and the corresponding colors that are within the iris. So it's based primarily on that. Secondary is your skin tone, and third would be your hair color, your natural hair color, not what you've dyed it this week. So a lot of times people will ask me, well, I haven't had my colors done in a really long time. I had them done 20 years ago. And if you were a spring like me 20 years ago, you're still going to be a spring today. Okay. Typically, your colors are not going to change. Your seasonal palette will not change, regardless of what you do to your hair color or even wearing colored contacts. So just something to keep in mind. Typically, when I have someone in front of me, and these are my drapes. These come for all, four seasons. This is actually the spring one that I chose. And, usually what they do, they're going to drape you with colors so you can see the color against your skin tone. As you can see, this is a carnation pink, which is really my pink that I want to be wearing because it doesn't drown out my eyes. You want the color to make the person look at you, not the color that you have on. You don't want it to be overpowering. But they typically go by, just each and every or they should be doing it this way, draping each fabric over you. This is one of my purples, one of my favorite colors, and so that way you can see what it actually looks like. But again, you're not going to like every single one of these. It's just, I don't like any, there's probably about 4 or 5 colors I don't like in the summer palette. So again, you can see all of this, again, they'll drape you with these, and again, these are mine. I just wanted to kind of show you what that would actually look like. And I apologize that my hand keeps disappearing. So this is my spring color draping. Now, the next one I just wanted to show you just for example purposes. And this one here is the winter palette, which is much stronger. It has a much stronger connotation rather than a spring or even their sister palette for a cool color, a color palette the summer. So, again, I'm a spring, so I'm more of a warm palette. And these are going to be very, winters typically look great in all like pure white, pure black, um, a bright yellow, much like this one. And again, these are really not colors. I look a little bit more washed out when I have these on the screen. So, and it's much brighter too when you see them in person. I look good in red, but this is a little too much for me. Um, so yeah, like even with the pinks that they have are very, very bright. And again, your eye goes directly to the color rather than looking at directly at me. And that's what you want. You want your colors to complement you, not overpower you. So this is kind of, again, when I've done these in person, I do these online as a virtual color analysis. And I just wanted to explain briefly what that is. So when someone goes to the website, they can go online, they can choose an online color analysis. It's only $97, which is a really good value. I still look over those results. I have a program that it goes through to determine what season you are, and then I make sure that that is correct. It has a very high accuracy rate. So typically what it's going to do is it's going to ask you a series of questions about your hair color, a couple about your eyes. What color is the iris? Is it blue? Do you have any gray, any flecks in there, any brown, gray, or blue flecks in the colored part of your eye? Then it's going to ask you about your skin tone. How would you categorize your skin tone? And you have some options you can pick from. And then I also take it a step further, and ask you additional questions about your skin tone that can really put you from one season to another. What really threw me into being a spring is the flecks that are in my eye. That was the one major thing that made me go from being a summer, which they thought I was, to being a spring. So just keep that in mind. These are really good questions. You want to make sure you're in front of the mirror when you ask. And sometimes you might have to, again, just kind of look closely or get like maybe a magnifying glass just to make sure when you're looking at your eyes or looking at your skin tone, that you're answering the questions appropriately. It usually takes about 5 minutes to answer all of the questions. It may take you a little bit longer. It might take 10 minutes if you're needing to look a little bit further into your, the iris color of your eye. And then you hit submit. And then that comes to me, goes through the system. We determine what you are. I check off on it almost. And then those results are emailed to you of, congratulations, you're a spring, congratulations, you're a winter or an autumn. You will immediately get, kind of a downplay of what your season actually means, where most of your predominant colors are going to be. And then you actually get a color card that you can print out, but we also mail one to you in the mail. So this is mine. What's really great about this color card is, and hopefully everybody can kind of see that, um, there's two parts to it. You have your primary colors on the front and then your secondary or accent colors on the back of the card. So you want to keep it in your wallet. I keep mine in my purse. You can fold these. They're laminated, but you can fold them if you need to. When you go shopping, and even when you go shopping online, really all you're going to do is you're going to take your color card and you're like, wow, I really like this. Is this the right, hue and right shade of blue for me? And then you can just kind of take it and you can kind of like hold it up, much like what I'm doing here with my shirt as well. And as long as you're within, um, you know, one shade, as long as you're close to that color, you should be fine. It doesn't have to be an exact match, because keep in mind when you're looking for things like a pastel green, for example, that in cotton and a pastel green in cashmere, the fibers in the fabric hold the color differently. So it's not always going to be an exact match. It's always going to vary a little bit according to what the fabric is. Also, too, I have names on here for each of the colors, but sometimes a salesperson might say, hey, I have this in, you might be looking for like a pastel pink, but she'll say, hey, I have something in puce, which is also a version of pastel pink. It's a very light muted pink. It's gorgeous. But if you hold that up to the color card up to the piece, it's probably going to match fairly well. So that is something you want to keep in your, again, it's very inconspicuous when you go shopping, and you can even use it for going online and shopping. You can just kind of hold this up to the screen to see how close that it actually is. Keep in mind when you're looking at clothing, on the screen, just like you see me, I have two different variations of blue here. I have like an aqua, and then I have like a much deeper, like a sea green blue almost. So this actually looks lighter on camera, okay? Where it's a little bit darker in person. Not by much, but a little bit. So always remember, if you're shopping online, keep in mind that whatever blouse or tie or suit that you're looking at, they're like, wow, I really like that. Even if you can zoom into the colors, just add a little bit more pigmentation to it, because it's going to come out a little bit darker when you get it in. Okay, it's not going to be lighter, it's always going to be a little bit darker. So just keep that in mind when you're shopping online and you're using your color card. So if it looks like, hey, that could be a little bit light, it's probably a better match once you get it in person, because again, as you're looking at it on the screen, no matter how good the photography is with the shopping outlet you're looking at, there's still going to be a little bit of differentiation in the color. Sorry, it's been a long day. But just always remember that. So keep that in mind whenever you are shopping online. And it doesn't matter what the site is. It could be Etsy, it could be, Neiman Marcus, it could be Dillard's, it could be anywhere. And you're still going to have that. So always add on, just keep in mind it's going to be a little bit darker than what you're seeing on the screen. So I hope that helps you a little bit, just kind of talking about color analysis and kind of like, I don't know that I want to do this, but I do have one that is online. It's very popular. And again, it's very quick. It's very easy. You can do it in the convenience of your own home. Once you have it done, you can, whatever you print out, you get the exact same thing mailed to you. So you do have a physical card as well. So if you don't want to print that out, you can always wait and I mail everything to you. It's in full color and you have that, so it makes shopping a lot easier. It makes organizing your closet a lot easier. What do you need to throw out? What do you need to have more of? If you want to take it a step further and you want to find out, I really want to use color and wardrobe as a tool in my marketing for sales, or in court, or when maybe you're an attorney and you're doing jury selection or voir dire, and you're like, gosh, I really need as much help as I can get on this case. So what colors can I wear that are going to be trust building? Again, blue is one of our trust building colors. However, you got to be wearing the right shades and hue and shades of blue for you. So just keep in mind that spring has its own set of blues. When you look at the summer color card, it also has a good variation of blues. But when you're wearing blue, again, if you're going to wear, for example, for winter, if you're going to wear like a really dark, true blue color, if I were to wear that, it would just be too overpowering. It would almost make me look sick, or tired, or I don't, like grumpy that I don't want to be there. So I want to stay away from that blue. I want to make sure that I'm wearing my aqua or the version of turquoise or the light blue or even navy, for whatever scenario I might be going into. So keep that in mind. Every single season, including autumn, has their own versions of blue. Okay. So you have to be really careful about that. That's why knowing your season is vital. But if you're wanting to learn more about how to use color as a tool in your wardrobe, so if you're a salesperson, maybe you're a realtor, anything where you're doing face-to-face sales, you're getting in front of people, whether that's on Zoom or it's in person, you're showing a house or you're closing a mortgage or you're trying to close a business deal, color can be a very powerful ally, depending upon what you're going into. So blues are trust building color, pinks are our calmer colors or our pastel colors to get people to be in a calmer state. So just depending upon what you do, you can utilize color to your advantage. Okay, so if that is something that you're interested in, I have something called a color alignment system, and you can click on the link in the show notes below. Fill out my form. I'm happy to have a conversation with you and tell you exactly how that works. It does include your color analysis. You do not have to see me in person. We do all of this online and through Zoom or Teams meetings. So I would love to be able to help you with that to further your career and help you close more deals in person. And again, I hope that this has given you a good overview. And if you are looking for a color analysis, again, there's another link in the show notes below. You can definitely click on that. And let me know as well in the comment section if there are certain seasons or colors that you want me to talk about that I can do a new color video on. I would love to do that. Just let me know what colors you're interested in hearing more about or what season. I hope to see you next time on the channel. And if you like what you heard, I hope you will click the like button. Click on subscribe so you know when I go drop another video or go live here on YouTube. And I will see you next time.